Hi guys, meet these YouTubers who pretend to solve paranormal cases to get views, but the paranormal case they are going to solve is completely real and they don't know it. Welcome to Worth Recap. This time I show you the summary of the movie Ghost Killers vs. Bloody Mary. We start in a school where some friends, Renato and Daniel, enter the school bathrooms. There Renato enters a bathroom and begins to perform a ritual to summon a spirit called Katerina, while Daniel waits outside. Once Renato finishes the ritual, the bathroom begins to shake and Daniel, believing that something is happening, enters by force. But it was just a joke by Renato. Annoyed, Daniel leaves the bathroom and leaves Renato alone. At that moment a key opens by itself and after a mirror begins to drip blood, Renato approaches to see what happens when he is possessed by Katerina. We pass with a group of 4 unsuccessful ghost hunters who make videos for YouTube: Caroline the psychic, Jack the engineer, Fred the leader of the group, and finally Tullio their cameraman. However, the videos they make are very bad and people only make fun of them. The 4 of them live in the house of a butcher to whom they owe the rent. The owner of the butcher shop, meeting the cameraman, begins to claim him and tells him to get a job for men, telling him about the time he was crushed by a bull and he escaped through it with only his fists. Then he tells him that if they don't pay his rent, he will castrate them and sends him to tell his friends. They don't care, they better start looking at the statistics of his channel that have fallen in recent months. Then they talk in ways to improve your channel. Caroline has a vision of the future and tells her classmates that very soon they will receive a call that will change their lives. At that moment the phone begins to ring and when she answers it turns out to be a prank call, so they decide to go out to eat. But after leaving, the phone rings again. But believing it to be another joke, they ignore it and leave. The caller begins to leave a message introducing himself as Principal Noguera of the Isaac Newton School. When they hear this, the ghost hunters return and take the call and Noguera offers them a job. They go to the Isaac Newton School to meet Noguera, who tells them the legend of the blonde from the bathroom, the spirit of a 13-year-old girl with blonde hair who died in an unknown way, who can be invoked after performing a ritual that consists in knocking on the door 3 times, then throwing the water 3 times and finally saying her true name 3 times. Once summoned, she will dwell in the place where she was called. At the end of the story he tells them that he does not believe in any of that and only called them because a boy suffered an epilepsy attack in the bathroom and was left in a coma. After this event the rumor spread in the school that the blonde from the bathroom was invoked at the school, and a student gathered signatures for the school to hire them to exterminate the blonde from the bathroom. Noguera wants them to do a show where they pretend to kill the blonde in the bathroom to calm the students. Jack asks for compensation for the work and Noguera offers them $1,500. Fred wants to accept the deal but Jack argues that the children's lives are something priceless, so he asks for $40,000 and Noguera makes them. Shortly after they left, an ambulance arrives taking away a boy who is spitting blood. Noguera catches up with the ghost hunters and accepts the deal. At night the team meets at the school and Jack makes a plan to pretend that they captured the blonde from the bathroom, with the help of a projector that they will place in the bathroom, and when someone between them they will turn on the projector and it will show an image of the ghost. Then they will leave the place and Tullio will appear in the corridor disguised as the ghost and they will finish him off. Caroline does not want to use plans and wants to prove that the ghost really exists, but Jack does not want to, since in the time they have been hunting for ghosts they have never found a real one. Then to improve the mood of the group, he gives uniforms to the team members. Tullio asks where he got the money and Jack says that it was from a generous businessman who believes in them, revealing that he stole the money from the butcher who rents them. Tullio asks Jack if there isn't a uniform for him and Jack hands him a ghost costume. Then the team prepares the necessary things for the plan. Jack is in the bathroom placing the projector and suddenly it turns on by itself. When he goes to investigate he discovers that it is disconnected, and suddenly it turns off and Tullio appears. He asks if he should remove his beard and Jack says yes and he sends him out of the place. After Tullio leaves he returns to see the power outlet and sees that the projector is connected. Shortly after Fred calls Jack to see if everything is ready in the bathroom, to take the Helena teacher to recreate the scene. Jack tells him no because he is having problems with the projector, and continues working when a faucet opens by itself. He walks over to the sink and turns off the faucet. Immediately blood starts dripping from the mirror and when he looks up the blonde appears in the mirror and scares him into hitting the mirror and breaking it. Immediately a storm appears out of nowhere and everything electrical in the school begins to fail, causing the lights to explode, leaving only the emergency lights. Noguera, seeing that the school was left without light, leaves his office to look for the ghost hunters. In the bathroom, Jack wakes up with a crystal stuck in his hand, immediately takes it out and puts it away, then bandages the wound and leaves from the bathroom. Fred, believing that Jack is responsible for the failure of the lights, calls him to congratulate him. Then asks Helena to start recording moment in which a noise is heard in one of the rooms. Fred, thinking that it is one of his colleagues, will investigate without fear. When he enters the room, he finds the figure of a girl near a wall. Fred approaches, and the figure turns and screams very loudly, then disappears. Fred and Helena leave the room, and in the corridor he meets Tullio. Fred congratulates him on his performance in the salon, but Tullio tells him that he was never there. Fred is not surprised as he thinks it was Caroline trying to get attention. Then they go to the bathrooms. Jack outside the bathroom sees a figure at the end of the corridor. He immediately throws something at him, discovering that it was Tullio. Then he approaches the group and tells them that they have to leave the school right away. Shortly after, Carolina appears down the stairs in a way very strange, and Fred starts recording it, thinking it's a performance. When they get closer, they see that Caroline's condition is not normal, and after hearing the laughter of a girl, her head explodes, leaving the team covered in blood and Tullio passed out from fright. Jack, Fred and Helena escape from the place, leaving only Tullio. On the way out, they discover that the door is closed and the phones do not work. Jack takes a fire extinguisher and breaks a window. Immediately the storm becomes stronger and the water turns into blood. Then the door starts to open and the blonde from the bathroom appears behind it. The group escapes from the place to look for another way out. In the middle of the road, they meet Noguera and tell him what happened. Then they take him to the place where Caroline died, and when they arrive they don't find her body, only Tullio. That's why Noguera doesn't believe them and he's leaving. Tullio gets up hysterical and Helena calms him down. Then Jack tells them that he saw the blonde in the bathroom. Tullio tells them that they should go back to the bathroom and do the invocation ritual in reverse to be able to return the blonde from where she came from, but they don't want to. Noguera returns to his office and the phone begins to ring. When he answers, a girl speaks to him who begins to laugh. Thinking that it is the work of the ghost hunters, he begins to insult them, and when he wants to hang up, a blonde hair begins to come out of the speaker. Then blood comes out while the specter watches him. Noguera passes out and is possessed by the blonde in the bathroom. For his part, Jack wants to run away from the school through another exit, and Helena remembers that there is another exit that was closed a long time ago. However, she does not know where it is, so she tells them that they must recover the old plans of the school from the principal's office. In the office they find a bloodbath, but they don't give it importance and start looking. But before they can find them, they hear a noise and go to investigate, finding Noguera possessed writing on a blackboard. They try not to make a sound and leave, but Tullio arrives yelling that he found the plans. That draws Noguera's attention and he jumps on Tullio while the others escape. However, Jack returns, takes the plans and escapes again. Fred and Helena hide in a warehouse where they start talking over alcohol, while Jack hides in a science room where he reviews the blueprints. For their part, Tullio and Noguera start a fight in which Tullio kills Noguera, causing the blonde to leave the body and then escape from the place. Jack hears a noise in the room and goes to investigate, meeting Daniel. He tells him that he is his fan and then helps him find a way out. With the escape route ready, Jack wants to create a weapon that he can use. Fred and Helena fall into their primal instincts and end up fucking. In the middle of the act, Helena is possessed and attacks Fred. He defends himself very well and manages to leave the warehouse while Helena chases him. Fred goes through the classroom where Jack is hiding and puts soap on the floor, causing Helena to fall and find Jack. She then tries to get into the room and Jack and Daniel block the door. The blonde leaves Helena's body and then possesses a fetus in the laboratory that attacks Jack. He takes the piece of mirror he kept to defend himself and reflects the fetus. This makes the blonde get scared and abandon the fetus. Tullio arrives with the security guard named Conan, who, seeing him covered in blood, ties him to a chair for safety, then takes a gun and they go out to investigate. Jack and his group arrive at the library and find Helena no longer possessed. Fred reveals to Jack that she fucked Helena possessed, so he claims that she fucked the blonde in the bathroom. Conan and Tullio enter a room and Conan sees a banquet and begins to eat it, while Tullio watches as he eats Noguera. The ghost appears and possesses Conan. Tullio immediately breaks free and tries to run away with the gun, but the blonde attacks him and Tullio shoots Conan, who falls on him. Tullio can't get Conan up and remembers the story of the butcher, and he uses the same technique. Helena tells the boys that while she was possessed she could feel the blonde's pain and that's why she wants to help her. Jack doesn't think she's good and just wants to get out of school, discovering that the library's exit was sealed. Then Daniel reveals to them that he was the one who found out the blonde's real name, which is Katerina, and summoned her at school. Jack wants to know where he found the name and Daniel gives him an old newspaper. Then Tullio arrives angry at being abandoned, but after talking a bit they manage to calm him down and Helena reads the story of the blonde in the bathroom, a girl who caused the envy of his. That's why her companions abused her and caused her suicide. Helena wants to help the girl and makes a scandal. Jack grabs a chair and knocks her out, arguing that she was possessed. Then, remembering what happened, Jack manages to devise a plan that is to dispel a fragment of the mirror. At that moment the ghost appears and knocks out Daniel, then starts to make the place move by knocking down the shelves and opening an exit. Fred runs to the exit and the blonde has Tullio who attacks Jack. He asks for help but Fred runs away. Tullio manages to put up with the possession of the blonde and asks Jack to kill him, but he refuses since he saw enough people die. He then takes the mirror and shows it to the blonde, causing her to leave Tullio. The blonde leaves her body and takes Daniel away, while Jack returns to the bathroom and with his tools places the mirror on the bullet, leaves the bathroom and confronts the blonde, aiming at her head, but before he can shoot Helena he moves it and Jack misses the shot, hitting him in the shoulder. The blonde materializes and Helena runs to comfort her. At that moment there is a strong wind and many newspapers fly to Jack's face, who takes one and discovers that the blonde was not abused but that she did a satanic ritual just for fun. The blonde, seeing that she was discovered, kills Helena and then shows her true form, trying to kill Jack and being stopped by Fred with a shard of the mirror. However, it is ineffective and attacks Fred. Tullio arrives at the bathroom and begins to do the reverse ritual, making the blonde drag herself to the bathroom. Then Jack and Fred arrive and hold the blonde so she can see in the mirror and end it all. Their case goes viral on the internet and they finally get the fame they wanted. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to see more videos like this. If you wanted to see more, I recommend this horror movie.